Hey everybody, welcome back. As you know, I'm David Rice, founder of Ignite DDS and co-founder of Ignite DA with this guy, Kevin Henry. How are you, Kevin?
Dave Rice, it's all good, my friend, and super glad to have not only one of my favorite dentists from upstate New York talking, but also one of my favorite dentists from the other part of New York as well on today, and that is Dr. Stephen Katz. Dr. Katz, how are you, my friend? It's good to see your face.
Terrific, Kevin. Nice to see you, David.
Nice to see you too.
Well, I know one of the things that we want to talk about, and I know that you are so passionate about, is that personal connection. And I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the power of a personal phone call and what this has been like for you connecting with your patients while we've kind of hit a little bit of a shutdown or a closure or whatever is going on in your part of the country. So just curious, how have you been connecting with your patients?
Well, I think the most important strategy right now is to stay connected with your patients.
Yep.
So what we've been doing, and I'm encouraging all of our coaching clients, is to set aside at least an hour or two a day and call every patient if you can, especially the elderly ones who are alone and not with family, and just say, how are you? How are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? Is there something I can drop off at your doorstep? People are lonely. One of our clients sent us the audio tape of a return call from one of his patients, and the woman was in tears. She was crying that he was one of the warmest and nicest people to have made that call. It made her feel important. It made her feel loved. And she said that she had to get off the phone before she started bawling. And you listen to that and you realize that the impact you can make and how much a simple phone call can make a difference in somebody's life, especially at a time like this.
And maybe it's just me, but my wife and I were talking last night about how that we've started our communication habits maybe have changed a little bit. Whereas, we didn't think we had time for a phone call before. Now we're making time, and we do have time for it. And do you think that that's something maybe that could or should continue after we start our businesses back up?
I think one of the good things about this, and try to find the good out of everything, making lemonade out of lemons, is I think people are developing more compassion towards one another. Whereas phone calls prior to this time used to be more task oriented and more to business. I think people right now are getting on the phone and asking, how are you? Is everybody okay? I know here in the New York area, we've been especially hard hit. With my own daughter works in a COVID unit in Mount Sinai Hospital. And whereas previously it was 55 post-op GI surgery patients, now it's all COVID patients, 18 of them on respirators, and 4 of those patients are physicians from her unit. So there's a lot more compassion, there's concern for one another. And I think moving forward, one of the pluses for practices is going to be capitalizing on the oral systemic connection. That there is nothing of greater importance to people right now than health. And there is one who contributes more to the health of patients than dentists can, whether it's in recognition of systemic diseases earlier on than can otherwise be detected, or in alleviating some of the conditions we treat that can contribute to a systemic problem.
Totally agree. So, it's interesting, and I love your approach because we've made a habit for the last 26 years now of calling all of our patients. And, on my schedule, Christine knows at the end of the day, here you go, David, do your homework. And Mark does his homework.
Absolutely.
And Laura does her
calling
homework.
patients after procedures is calling patients before procedures is important.
Yeah.
But one of the skills and strategies we've taught all of our coaching clients, and I've done it for 25 years now, is when a new patient is due to come to your office, for the doctor to call that new patient the night before that visit to say, hi, Mrs. Dr. Katz. I always like to call the guests to my office who are coming for the first time the night before their first visit, just to welcome you to the office and to introduce myself. If you have any special concerns before you come in, I'd love for you to share them with me so that we can be better prepared when you come in. And the reaction you get from patients when you do that is, "You're the doctor? Why are you calling me?" And then it just opens it up to talk about how, because I'm concerned, it's the relationship that's more important to me. Once we have the relationship, then we can go on to caring for you. And if you don't get the patient on the phone, if you just leave that as a message, when they come in the next day, they go right up to the administrative team member and they say, "Do you know the doctor called me last night?"
Hmm.
And that's where they can give an affirmation and say, "Of course he did. That's the type of person he is." And it sets in a complete different tone for the patient as far as expectations, and it shortens the life cycle of that trust cycle, that contributes to how soon patients will accept comprehensive care.
100%. We've done that too. I learned that years ago from Walter Haley. Do you remember Walter?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Itsy bitsy.
Itsy bitsy.
Did you go
Itsy
down the ranch?
So I came post ranch days. I think I met Walter
Okay.
24 years ago or so.
I
Um,
went down to that ranch with Mac Lee and Jolene.
so you had to be in the first group or one of the first groups of people down there.
It was even before Steve Anderson got involved.
Hmm. Yeah, great group of folks, and we adopted that technique. I love that you work with your clients with that, and in your own practice with it. It's powerful, and I think we forgot in years past how powerful that human connection was. But I'll tell you,
Hmm.
Kevin and I were talking just the other day, and I'm not sure what you're seeing where you are, and Kev, what you're seeing where you are, but there are more families walking, bicycling, doing all the things that people did 20 years ago and truly reconnecting in an old school way that I think old school's coming full circle, and I love to see it.
I have met more neighbors in the past 5 weeks than I did in the last year.
Yeah.
And actually, it's kind of funny. I mean, the dog looks at me now and says, "Do we have to go for another walk?" Because we've been we've been taking them out. One other thing I just wanted to talk about communication that um, we have always taken advantage of in my office, now in coaching, is we had a team or staff psychologist. And so we would have several times a year, we would have our team psychologists come in and run team meetings. And some would say we needed it, but wasn't so much because we were crazy, although sometimes we were, but more because psychologists are really experts on communication and learning how to relate to one another. And another big part of that was learning from a psychologist who treats anxiety and depression how to deal with patients who have fears, phobias, and anxiety, because their belligerence, or what we perceive as belligerence oftentimes, is just the way they're responding to their fears and anxiety. And understanding that goes a long way in creating a better relationship with these patients.
I like that understanding. Kev, sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just going to say, we know that fears may be ramped up a little bit as patients come back into the practice. So, I mean, that's a great point to keep in mind when practices do open back up, and whenever these patients come back in for the first time post all of this that has happened, is to make sure that you're cognizant of their mindset as well.
Sure, and that goes as far as communicating with the team right now. We're still in lockout mode here, but we've been encouraging our doctors to get on Zoom meetings with their entire team at least once a week. Have happy hours with them Friday. We have one doctor who's been having a pizza delivered to each of his team members once a week. Keep them engaged, keep them positive, give them encouragement, give them confidence moving in, because if they come back with the confidence, then that's going to make it a lot easier for the patients to come back with confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I tell you what, I love that pizza idea. We've done the team meetings on a very regular basis, but I have
Mm-hmm.
not sent pizza. And I think now is the time for us really to build momentum. And
Absolutely.
whether
Mm-hmm.
it's, this week, depending on where you are in this country, next week or a month from now, momentum is going to be very important, how we carry that forward. Love that. I'm going to do that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Good.
you.
One of our offices had a Friday night dance party. They hired a DJ on one screen on the Zoom, and they had all the members of the team were dancing in their own living rooms.
That's cool too. We've got our most seasoned dentist, Marshall, would love that. I'm a little afraid, but we may need to do that too.
Yeah, the fact that I'm on TikTok now is enough to scare anybody. So there's been like dance parties over here. Yes. Well, Dr. Katz, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to make sure that we put the link down below so that you can know more about Dr. Katz and everything that he offers. And anything else that you wanted to cover we didn't touch upon, Dr. Katz, because I know you are a wealth of knowledge, my friend.
Well, just be positive. One of the things that is going to make it easier for us to come through is we're doing this together. And if we support one another, if we encourage one another, if we give each other confidence, if we look for ways that we can help one another, we're all going to come out of this a lot stronger in the end.
Love it.
Dave, take us home, my friend.
I tell you, thank you so much. This is for those of you who have been making calls sporadically. This is the time to get on it and really amp your game. And for those of you, we know, right? We promise to do things. So now's the time to live up to those promises. And for those of you docs out there, in the past, I would apologize for giving you more work. I'm not even going to do that anymore. Now's the time to show your patients how much you care, show your team how much you care. Dr. Katz, thanks so much for your time. Kevin, I know we'll be talking a little bit later today. So everybody, appreciate your time. Hit us up with questions, concerns, thoughts, and maybe how we can help you apply this and integrate in your practice.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.